Final Fantasy XI had one of the best endgame experiences of any game I've ever played, and it got me so excited to level new jobs and try new things out so that I could engage in more of those activities and have different options when my friends needed this versus that versus the other thing. But that's part of the problem, is that was always such an amazing drive for me. I actually didn't even want to play the endgame all that much. Most of the time I just wanted to level new jobs out of the theory of what was out there at the endgame. But for me, that was the thing. It was a driving tool, and I very rarely actually took part in a lot of the activities, although I did every once in a while. Now, I first want to apologize for the kind of clickbaity title of like the problem with Final Fantasy XI's endgame, because it's more so my problem with how the endgame stands now. A lot of people are really enjoying it, and I'm sure I would too if I could really get into it. But there's an issue, which I'm going to get into over the course of this video. First, I'm trying to gear up this stupid dancer. I feel like I just did this like 2 weeks ago, and I don't have any gear anymore. So sorry. So hey guys, it's Sun4Games. Welcome back for more Final Fantasy XI 2017. This time not quite actually doing endgame activities, which is interesting because this video is all about endgame. I'm leveling my dancer, which is sort of the point. In the last video I did, I finally finished off my summoner set of I-19 gear to get me at a base of I-119, and allow me to really start moving up in the world and, you know, get some job points and do everything else. So of course, as soon as I have that, I immediately lost all interest. No, not all interest. But I had less of a drive to take that next step and go on to the other crazy stuff, which is not unique for me. Back in the day, this used to happen all the time, where I would spend months leveling Samurai to 75, and I'd work at it, and I'd get so excited, and then I'd get to 75 and immediately be like, why is Escape so expensive? Jesus, I'm gonna go farm Escape. How often does that sell? Yeah, we gotta look at that for a second. So here we are, and I'm not giving up on Summoner. I'm not giving up on the Final Fantasy XI endgame, but I want to explain kind of the difficulty in my 2017 endgame experience compared to what it used to be in you know, the years prior to the 75 cap being raised. But first, that sells fairly often, every couple of days. I'm gonna go farm Escape. I found a moneymaker, guys. Oh, I just told the internet. Shit. So, look, not that I didn't take part in various parts of endgame in the earlier years. Let's get a weapon. Because I did. I did Dynamis, I did Limbus, I did that damn tower, 100 floors. I can never remember the name of it. It's still out there. It's still useful. And I enjoyed a lot of it. I did some open world, high-level Notorious Monsters, H&Ms, and Kindred Seal Notorious Monsters. I count that as endgame stuff. Point is, I had a lot of that going on, and I really enjoyed it. But to me, it was more of that driving kind of thing. I need a behemoth knife. Or anything. Ugh. Hang on, I think I got something left. Let's get the other pieces. It was always something that got me more excited about leveling other goals. I would hear about summoners taking on Kirin with their 70 blood packs and getting to stand back, and they're never in any danger, and they just fire off these 1k damaging spinning dives with Leviathan, and then they run off to safety. And I was like, man, I want to level summoner to 75 so I can do that. And I did. That was why I did that. Was I heard of crazy stuff, people going against Kirin. Black Mage. During that Kirin fight, I saw a Black Mage fire off a Stone 4 on either Kirin or one of the other endgame gods. But it looked so amazing. It was the first time I'd seen Stone 4. And I was so blown away by it. I was like, I have to go level Black Mage so I can fire off these amazing spells on gods. More so than I actually enjoyed fighting the gods. I just wanted to have all these options, these different ways that I could go about it. That was just me. So, the endgame problem now is that I would hear these stories. I would hear these myths of these endgame creatures and people that would go against them and things they could do. And it got me so excited. I would just be so pumped to get the right torque. Yeah, that was a joke. Do I already have one of these? I think I do. I'll look for it. But that's sort of the problem, is the endgame right now, it took such a huge jump from the 75 era where like Kirin and the gods were around for years. Since the end of, I guess, the Zillard expansion? Maybe, I don't remember exactly when Kirin was released. But my point is, it was for a very long time, Kirin was out there, and people knew about him, and he was intense, and he was hard, and he was one of the hardest fights in the game, and that gear was incredibly useful, even long after new endgame had come out with Limbus, and salvage. Just a million other things came out, other options, but that gear, it never got bad. It was still amazing. But now, I don't know any of the endgame notorious monsters, and part of that's my fault. Like, I haven't really gotten into it and looked into all the different ways. I've got a swift belt, what am I doing? All the crazy stuff that's out there, and I'm sure those fights are incredibly hard, but there isn't that crazy lore around it. I don't know what I should be fighting and why. I mean, there's information out there. I can find it. I can Google it now. I gotta get this stupid gear going. Does that make any sense? So before I continue, I should say that we are literally fighting the world right now for this this video. I'm on call for work. They could call me at any moment, ruining my chances to record this delicious video for you guys. I've got new challenges popping up every moment. Katie's upstairs. She refused to take off her flip-flops so she could be clomping around. And they're like having a kid block party. There's like a million kids outside. So at any moment, one of them could slam into the window just screaming. I don't know what kids do. That sounds like something a kid would do. So let me get some gear, and then we'll get back to this. So I just threw out a bunch of macros, equipped a bunch of gear. I do not have gear sets ready. We're going to go with it. That's okay, though. Because, honestly, I want to get back to talking about the end game. Because partially, I am comparing to how things used to be. And like I said, it used to be years and years of this horizontal progression where the new stuff wouldn't replace the old stuff. And you would just hear these myths, these rumors of impossible dragons and gods and this stupid weapon that would hide out invisible in Buran Gardens. Whatever. Oh. Where am I going? I gotta get up to... Not Nizal Isle. Azuva? Rusiator. Let's go with Azuv. I might get this wrong. I'm trying to get to the Imps in Cadaver Mire. I really don't remember. It may be the other one. But I was so excited to fight these creatures, and I just don't have the same draw to fight these nameless notorious monsters that kind of change every month. I mean, they've introduced really intense fights and everything, and a lot of the older fights that they've made more difficult, I still have a lot of interest in. Oh my god, nailed it! Guys, nailed it. Sorry. Okay, let's get some bosses out here. It just gave me something to strive for, and with these new enemies, although I'm excited about like the concept of an endgame, I don't have that same like, just can't wait to fight specific things because I don't know the specific things, which is fine. But like I used to want to fight Omega, I wanted to fight Ultima, I wanted to fight the King of Dynamis, the Shadow Lord again. I loved that stuff. I got so excited, and regardless, once I got there, I rarely actually did it. But that was just sort of the whole thing. Now again, I want to get back to explaining that this doesn't mean that the current endgame system is bad or not fun. And from what I've played of it, it is really intense and a lot of fun as long as you've got a group of people to you know, make what Final Fantasy XI why it was so amazing before. It was never because like I was out here leveling in a cool RPG, although that's true. It was because I was sharing with a bunch of friends that, you know, loved it. And we would all just feed off of each other's excitement about various things. So I think it's still important to have that core group. This bug is like in my face. Did I Mr. Miyagi it? I don't know. I might have just scared it off. If that makes any sense. You know, it also used to make me want to have better gear, because that's a whole other thing. Is right now I don't have a huge drive to have the best gear. Like, so my summoner has a bare bones 119 set. Don't you do it. Also, I have no idea what I'm doing with what's it called? Dancer. It's been a long time, guys. Sorry. I can stun, I think. Nice. Having that drive, that urge to get better gear, came from a combination of, you know, wanting to impress random strangers and just be cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was totally part of it. Although it wasn't the biggest part of it for me. Part of it was wanting to be amazing for my friends. I totally wanted to impress all my friends with like my amazing gear that they didn't have. But not necessarily strangers as much, but still that was part of it. But a lot of it was like, oh, you'd hear that Dynamis, you need 18 people plus like multiple groups of full alliances to do Dynamis, and I was like, okay, we can work with that. Like, I guess I'll try and get up, and then you'd be like, yeah, they'll let me in because I'm a summoner when they like need summoners. But I think I can do reverse flourish. But I was like, I don't want to like look like crap. I don't want to be the crappiest guy there wearing shitty gear that like nobody is impressed by. So then I'd want to be better geared for dynamics, even though I might be able to functionally do it. I just felt kind of crappy being there in what I was wearing. I mean, that's kind of lame, but that was the truth. That was like how it was. And now that I don't have that kind of like this broad, there's a ton of people on the server that I need to impress. I just have less desire to improve my gear that way. Plus, you know, the other problem with not having a core driving interest in the endgame. But part of it is the lore. I mean, there was like cool stories about like you'd hear how you pop Kieran was this, you have to fight all the other gods, and there was a lore and in-game story behind what was going on there, and that gave it so much weight. You're like, oh my god, like what? That's insane that's going on. That people fight all the gods, and like, you know, these are the gods of Vanadil, and they're guarding Sky and whatever. And actually, to be honest, now that I'm saying that, I don't even know the lore. I bet it's nuts though. I just kind of made something up in my head. But now it doesn't feel like there's any kind of story connection to the things we're fighting. It's kind of like these fights that are set up to just kind of be there to be cool content. And while that's cool, it kind of kills the whole like, oh, this insane background. Like Final Fantasy XI to me was all the background, everything going on behind the scenes. Not behind the scenes, right on the forefront. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I'm getting so emotional. It's hard for me to explain what I mean. But there was so much depth to everything going on. There were stories behind everything. Not Poizanga. Why would you do this to me? I never gave myself haste. I'm so wounded right now. I'm gonna cure 4 myself because I can do it. Thought I could do it. I don't. Wow, how much TP does it cost? Who knew? Where was I? Getting emotional. Everything had a story background. Even if I didn't pay like super close attention sometimes, it was there. And that just gave everything so much weight. And now it seems like it's a lot of times it's like, go to Sky, use these items, pop this ridiculous creature, and hope you survive for some crazy gear. But I'm like, okay. But like, what are we doing up there? It's not even the normal Sky anymore. I don't know. And it's partially stupid. And a lot of people that are currently enjoying Final Fantasy XI's Endgame are probably looking at me like, dude, you're an idiot. It's so cool. You've got to start doing it. And I probably will. I'm really enjoying myself, and I can't level forever. But this was kind of like standard procedure for me, where I would immediately pick up the next job and start leveling something else. I was never really about the gearing at endgame. I did it mostly because a lot of friends would be like super into it, and they'd be like, "Oh man, you've got to join us for this. It's so much fun." It was a lot of fun to do with friends, and then I'd end up like kind of getting some gear that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But yeah, I avoided a lot of it. A lot of it because of schedule reasons. It was hard for me to do a lot of those events in certain times. But anyways, it's just like, as soon as I hit 119, it happened with Blue Mage and it happened with Summoner. Obviously, there are a lot of pieces of gear that I could still improve on. But the drive to do that, for a lot of the reasons I've already mentioned, isn't as easy to kind of convince myself of that drive as it used to be way back in the day. And partially that is due to, like, you know, there isn't as big of a community driving that. You don't see those people shouting for these events as much anymore. And part of my point is that the community is crucial, because you feed off of the forum posts, the shouts in game, the just general stories you hear in a party where someone's like, yeah, a group of mine like took down Omega and Limbus the other day, and he like wiped us and we came back from it. It was nuts. And somebody fought Cerberus, and he's like bigger than a zone. It's insane. And a lot of it was exaggeration. You'd be like, that's not true. Is that true? I don't know if that's true. And I'm kind of rambling a little bit about the glory days and the good old days and what I miss. But partially, I mean, this is my fault, because the end game in general hasn't changed that much. I mean, it's obviously very very different in terms of what you're fighting and how you get there, but overall there's still difficult enemies for me to pursue that I have to gear up for. I mean, that hasn't changed. The approach to get to those is far more approachable than it used to be. So if anything, it should be easier for me to get into that kind of content. I don't need a link shell of 18 people to do the barest bones of stuff. I could do it with a small group of 6 if I can find it, or even some of it obviously by myself with trust. So it's not fair of me to say like what's wrong with the Final Fantasy XI Endgame. Nothing's wrong with the Final Fantasy XI Endgame. What's wrong with me is that I can't get excited about it like I used to get excited about these just years of built up excitement. When I fought Kieran, I had heard his name for a straight year. And honestly, it was literally kind of like terrifying to see him popped. I was like, we can't survive this. Everything I've ever heard. And it was like a 3-hour fight. I mean, I will never forget that. I'll be on my deathbed. My great-grandchildren will be like, Grandpa, great-grandpa, do you have any cool stories to tell us about your life? And I'll be like, Kieran, it was really tough. That's a slight exaggeration. I'll let you know whenever that happens. We're getting morbid. But, like I said, I don't mean to downplay the current endgame. The fact is I don't know much about it. Every time I try to get into it, I get very confused. There's a lot of cleaving. I need job points is what I need. But let me know what you think. Am I crazy here? I think this might be a little divided between people currently playing Final Fantasy XI right now and enjoying the endgame experience, and those that obviously left because they don't feel like the game is the same anymore. And as I try to get more into it, and I really plan to, I don't want you to think I'm not going to. We'll get a better glimpse into what's going on, because this might be totally unfair. I might start doing it and be like, guys, there is amazing lore and background here. There's a definitive reason that I'm doing this. It's really cool. I was stupid, and I'm sorry for... I'm asleep. Huh. So, Zai might take it on by himself. I guess I hope we wake up at some point. I hate imps. I hate imps so much. I might find that I was totally wrong. But part of the problem is there's no glimpse into how that endgame works from the outside, kind of because the community is so much smaller, and unless you're in a link shell already, which I, to be fair, haven't looked for yet. I know there's communities on Odin and other servers that are doing all this stuff. Level 71, there we go, guys. You see that? That's how it's done. But seriously, let me know what you think in the comments. Am I not being fair to Final Fantasy XI? Have they done an amazing job with the endgame so far, as it's been changed in 2017? And I think the answer to that probably is yes. I think what I'm asking for is a bit petty. I just miss it. I miss the way it used to be. So I want to hear all your thoughts. Bit of a little disclaimer note. Next week we got some interesting stuff coming out. Oh God, I'll save you, Koromora. And by interesting stuff coming out, I mean I might be trying something new. So I'm thinking Tuesday, shooting for Tuesday, to do my first in a long time Twitch stream of probably Final Fantasy XI, unless something else strikes me like crazy that day and I'm like, I can't not do this. So I'll link the Twitch account, the channel below. It's on Hunt for Games. I'm sure you guys can find it. I'm very unfamiliar with Twitch, as in I've like done it like one time. So I gotta do some test streams this weekend and stuff, so you might see that coming around. But I'll probably keep announcing it throughout the rest of the videos. There's only gonna be one before that. So get excited. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for me to do live streams, and I've been really looking forward to the chance to do that, because I just feel like it'd be an awesome way, because like this conversation would be so much more fun if I could be like having it live with you guys, chatting back and forth. So I'm excited. We can talk more about it then. I'm really pumped to check it out. I'm doing it on Twitch for a couple reasons. Honestly, I haven't been sold on Twitch. I really like the Twitch platform, though. I think it's really cool for streaming. I really like a lot of things you can do with it. So I'm going to check it out. If it looks like it's never going to work and it's just terrible, I'll switch over to YouTube, because obviously everybody is over here on YouTube already. But regardless, I'm really excited to check it out. Bear with me through technical and just general streaming newbiness, because I really have no idea what I'm doing. at all with live streaming. To be fair, I don't even use Twitch that much. I don't watch Twitch that often. So a lot of you guys might be like, dude, you gotta remember to do this. And I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, I've babbled on enough. Thanks for checking out the video on the, Final Fantasy 11 in 2017. The Endgame as it currently stands. I know we didn't get to actually see any in-game, but that was kind of the point, is that I can't bring myself to do it. So let me know what you think about the video and what you want to see for the live stream next week on Tuesday. Seriously, I'm super pumped about that, and excited to check out some of the endgame stuff. For any of you playing Final Fantasy 11 Endgame right now in 2017, let me know where I should start. I know there's a bunch of like returning to Final Fantasy 11 guys. I've checked out a bunch of them, but to be honest, I still kind of get confused about the gap now, like of what is next. What do I do next? And in my mind, that is always level the next job to be further prepared to do cool stuff in Endgame. But seriously, guys, thanks for listening to my complaints about a game that I've loved for years, and it's sometimes hard for me to adapt to the game that it has become. In many ways, it's much easier, and in many ways, it's almost even harder. So let me know what you think. Thanks for checking around the video. Pop-up video. Wow, I'm just totally rambling at this point. Thanks for sticking around, watching the video. Check back for the next one on Monday, and get excited for the live stream. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your parents, tell your kids, tell everyone. I'll have more announcements, but wanted to start it off here. So, okay guys, cool, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, you should totally think about subscribing. I've got videos coming out twice a week, and if you like this one, there's at least a chance you like some of the others that are very similar to this, so live dangerously. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comments and other videos you'd like to see. And finally, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Huntin for Games to keep up with all the latest stuff. See ya.